There are two kinds of people in the world, my friend. Those with a rope around their neck and the people who have the job of doing the cutting. Listen, the neck at the end of the rope is mine. I run the risks.
Desert Sky Spine and Pain brings to you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Desert Sky Spine and Pain, where they're focused on your function.
Two can dig a lot quicker than one.
Yes, sir. The good old folks over there at Desert Sky Spine and Pain. Check them out at desertskymedicine.com. Our guy, Dr. Thomas Corey, and his team will get you right.
Yeah.
No doubt, man.
If you're feeling it, go. They'll help you out, man. Back, hips,
everything.
Yeah. You got to stretch your hips.
Focus
get older.
on function.
If you got a pain in the middle, small of your back, it's probably your hips are too tight.
Yeah.
Actually, my foursome yesterday, one of the guys who's probably the best golfer in our group was just really stiff.
I'm glad you're talking about golf.
But I was playing it. We were playing against him in a two-man thing. I stretched him out, little scorpion stretch, loosened him up. By the way, that guy, Francisco, you are the stiffest human being I've ever seen in my life. You need to stretch your hips a little bit, buddy. Yeah.
How'd you shoot yesterday before we get to the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Good, man. It was like a two-man best ball, and so we just kept those scores. But a couple birdies, pretty much bogey golf. Had a couple, I had a hole or two that was not great, but, low 90s.
Heck yeah, man.
Bogey golf is the way I play golf.
It's the best way.
Hey, La Paloma.
Yeah. Sometimes I even triple up.
Oh, I didn't even mention to you guys yesterday. So we're at I think it's hole 7 on Ridge, and one of the guys is like, okay, if anybody gets a hole in one, we're just shutting it off. We're telling our ladies to meet us at Fleming's, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. I'm in. Guys, I missed my first hole in one by 6 inches.
Oh man.
I hit a beautiful, perfect 9-iron, and it was like literally just the tap in.
Yeah.
Just a nice, comfortable
That's
9-iron.
awesome.
They're gonna go nuts when he hits this thing.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was like, and it would have been, because we said that right before, it would have been would have been iconic if it was like, yeah, let's do it. Somebody's getting a hole in one. We're going to Fleming's, and I'm like, okay, here it is. Boom. If it would have gone, it didn't go in, but it was still a great shot.
Which reminds me, I saw a picture on Instagram the other day that said, yesterday would have been my first hole in one, but today it's a bogey, and it showed where the cup used to be.
Yeah.
And the marking, and the ball was sitting right on it. And the new pin was like 10 feet to the left. I'm like, damn, that would have been awesome.
Golf, man, golf. You have to
sport.
You have to find a way to make it fun and enjoy your company, because the game itself will humble you every single time.
Yep, it will humble you.
Yeah.
So great. All right, let's
blame it on the alcohol.
Yeah, but sometimes the alcohol can lubricate you and get you.
It helps
and turn your game right around, especially on the back nine.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyways, let's get to the good, the bad, and the ugly here on Spears and Ali. Ali, the floor is yours, my friend. What is your good, bad, and ugly from the weekend?
My good is this, man. Congratulations to the Arizona men's basketball team. You had a very successful, great year in your first year in the Big 12. I'm proud of this team, of their effort, how they've overcome so much adversity this year. And if they proved one thing, it was that they have a lot of perseverance, and they can play with the best teams in the country. I know we fell twice to arguably the best team in the country in Houston in the last few minutes, but we were right there. If you can learn about, learn from that, execute, it's going to really help you down the line with the tournament starting. So my good is I'm just really proud to be an Arizona Wildcat and our men's basketball team. I thought they, other than the year itself, the way they played in the tournament, playing essentially a road game against Kansas in their first game, and like prevailing there in, I think, convincing fashion, and then taking on what I consider a very tough Texas Tech team, beating them, again, executing at the end, and just the way we played against Houston. Houston is really tough, and it was, Fran Fraschilla said it perfectly. It's like, a boxing match, and the champ is throwing haymakers, and the challenger is throwing haymakers, and nobody got knocked out. It went the distance, and the champ just got a couple more punches in at the end. So congratulations, Arizona men's basketball. I thought it was a great year, and now on to the second season.
Yeah, I do love how Fran Fraschilla is always like naming every little thing that happens in the game. You're like, oh, they were targeting him. That's called targeting. I'd be like, thanks, Fran. Cool. Appreciate it, bud.
I like Fran.
I do too.
But
he has those moments where he's like, yeah, this is what this is called. And you're like, that doesn't need a name.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. So, yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, is there maybe somebody else in the studio who does that?
No.
Is there?
Somebody will say something and they'll say, oh, yeah, that's this. Still say the same thing. There's not anybody in the studio that does that.
Are you talking that I'm that person?
I can't think of anybody. Yeah. Why do you keep looking over over my way?
Yeah. All right. So here's my bad is, the Selection Sunday, men and women, right? There's always the people just complaining and trying to create storylines. And usually it centers around who got in like number 65 and 64 and 63 and who didn't get in, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to get to my ugly in a second because that's part of it. But here's something I've never seen before. I've never seen coaches be more whiny and complainy because they don't like their number one seed. And yesterday what we saw in women's basketball is Dawn Staley from South Carolina and Lindsey Gottlieb from USC acting all butthurt and seriously just being whiny little women because their number one seed wasn't high enough.
Yeah.
I mean, Dawn Staley went as far as to say, well, if the standard is the standard, then, we'll just schedule around that next year because we should have gotten the overall number one seed. UCLA got it. I think South Carolina got the number one overall seed.
Yeah.
USC 3, and was it Connecticut 4 or something?
I think USC was the fourth,
whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, they acted with such petulance and they were so smug and indignant about it. It is like they were left out of the tournament entirely.
Yeah.
They complained about their number one seed wasn't high enough. So to that,
Oh my gosh.
I give you the Ollie special. Shut up.
I've gotten that a lot of times.
Just shut up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. I mean, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
I've seen like, oh, we are 2, we should have been a 1, or we were 3, or whatever.
Yeah.
But we are not the overall number one seed. I mean, go win games.
Yeah.
Go win games in the tournament. You are a number one seed. You've got the easiest path in the tournament. It's mind-boggling to me what people complain about.
Yeah. Unless you're like Louisville in the men's tournament, because I guess I saw a stat where they're the lowest seeded top 13 team in the nation in the last 13 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
Yeah,
They're
I get
eight
it.
Instead of like a 5.
I think, I think the committee's got recency bias, and they watched that Duke game without Cooper Flag, and Louisville did not look good. So even with the record, I think I think they saw that game and they're like, we cannot give them anything higher than 5 seed. Louisville didn't play very well.
They didn't give him anything higher than a 7. They gave him an 8 seed.
Louisville's an 8 seed?
Louisville's an 8 seed.
Yeah. All right.
Nobody I think the top 13 or the 13th ranked team in the nation hasn't been more lower than a 5 seed since 2012.
Man, that's tough.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to my third point, which is the teams that were seeded over them was in the SEC. And I know. The SEC got 14 teams in the tournament. 14! They've got 18 teams in the league.
Yeah.
How would you like to not be those 4 teams? Like, it's like, hey, we're going to have the SEC Invitational in March, but you're not invited.
Yeah.
Texas was 6-12 in the conference. They got in, right? I mean, but you know what? Texas had 7 quad 1 wins. So you know what? I can get it. I get it. And that's fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
So, by the way, we need to have a conversation about Ed Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, is the worst thing that's ever happened to college athletics, and we cannot get him out fast enough because he is going to ruin college sports. He's already gone a long way doing it with his partner ESPN. I know this is ESPN radio, but there's a total propaganda about the SEC. And as my number one wish is Arizona does really well in the tournament.
Yeah.
My number 2 wish is as many SEC teams as possible lose in the first round.
They're the new Big Ten, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. In recent years, the Big Ten, they've gotten 9 to 10 teams in the tournament, and how many of them got to the Sweet 16? It'll be like 1.
Yeah.
Like, majority of those teams will always lose in the first 2 rounds.
I know. And the SEC hasn't won the national championships since 2012, I believe. So,
Kentucky.
Just for the record. So anyway, but that's not my ugly. My ugly is this, and it goes to the ACC.
Wow.
How the hell did North Carolina get in the tournament?
Right?
How the hell did North Carolina get in the tournament? I'm going to tell you. The chairman of the committee, of the selection committee for the men's basketball, is a guy named Bubba Cunningham. Who's Bubba Cunningham? Well, Bubba is good old Bubba. He's the athletic director of North Carolina. Guess who got a $100,000 bonus yesterday because North Carolina made the tournament? Bubba Cunningham.
Man.
North Carolina has one quad one win out of 13 tries. They're 1-12 against quad one teams.
Jeez.
Texas at least has 7. West Virginia has 10 quad 1 or 2 wins. They didn't get it. Ohio State and Indiana have 9 quad 1, quad 2 wins. They didn't get in. But North Carolina did, because you know what? The good old boys on the men's selection committee helped out their boy Bubba get $100,000. Guess who's buying dinner tonight? Bubba.
Yeah.
So that's BS. North Carolina, great pedigree, great history of basketball, did not deserve to be in the tournament this year. 1-12 in quad 1 games. And but you know what? Bubba got his $100,000 bonus for them being in. And yeah, you think there's no coincidence there? If it looks like a Bubba and it walks like a Bubba, it's probably a Bubba.
It is a Bubba.
They'll get fried in the play-in.
Oh, good God.
Pockets are very fat, though. Nice little $100,000 bonus.
You already, I mean, $1.4 million annual salary, and you got a $100,000 little early Christmas gift.
Pays for his golf and a nice little vacation and some.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the guy's going to Bubba away and do the things that Bubba does, and he's going to be Bubbaing with an extra $100,000. So that's a lot of gumbo and catfish for Bubba.
You say shrimp?
Sure, shrimp too.
Shrimp, man.
Yeah, fried,
Shrimp,
sauteed. Yeah, kebabs.
Shrimps are lemon.
Scampi.
Shrimps are orange.
Yeah,
That's about it.
That's
yeah. So
great movie, by the way.
good job, Tar Heels. You got your AD, or your AD got himself an extra $100,000.
Go
And
Tar Heels.
look forward to you being ousted very quickly in the first round.
Yeah.
All right, so my good, bad, and ugly. Starting off with the good, St. John's, man. The Johnnies in New York, when Rick Pitino took them over, I was kind of skeptical because I felt like Rick Pitino was kind of past his prime, right? Like the game had already passed him. Yeah, he did his thing at Louisville, but he got in some trouble, and that was going to be the end of Rick Pitino as a coach in college basketball. But then he comes back and he coaches Iona, and the Gales do great under him. And then St. John's, they're looking for just a shot in the arm for their program right there in the middle of New York City. And so they hire Rick Pitino. And if you listen to Rick Pitino, man, this man sounds like a mobster in New York. I mean, he sounds like he comes from one of the high-end crime families in New York City. And man, he looks great in that all-white suit. Man, he looks like an absolute boss.
And he's hilarious, man.
And he's funny
his
as
press
hell.
conferences are
Yes.
great. I mean, when he's talking about one of his players needs to take IVs because they're observing Ramadan, and they're giving him all the vitamins and nutrients he needs so he can play. And he asked the trainers, yeah, could you put something in there so he plays better defense? That's funny.
That's incredible,
funny.
man. That's incredible.
And it sets up a delicious, I didn't want Arizona to play Xavier at all, first round, second round, because I don't want to play against Sean Miller. But I do like it when it doesn't affect me. I do like these things. And you could have Rick Pitino and St. John's playing Arkansas and John Calipari in the second
that's
round.
juicy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So let's root for that, man, because those guys, what is it, that palm oil that you put in your hair to slick it back?
Mhm.
They're gonna, wherever they're playing, you may want to
Lot
stock
of that.
up.
yeah.
Man, those chicken cutlets at the local Italian restaurant. Where is that game? Where are they at?
I don't know.
I don't know. That
That
Italian
specific
restaurant's going to be
game.
making a lot of money if that matchup happens. But yeah, I'm hoping for the John Calipari Rick Pitino matchup in the second round. And I mean, just Rick Pitino turning around St. John's. They just won their first Big East tournament since 2000.
Yeah.
They did it on their home floor at Madison Square Garden. You got Spike Lee sitting courtside wearing all the St. John's gear. I think Spike Lee just became a St. John's fan.
Yeah, Run DMC, they sing another song about they went to St. John's University because that's where they went. R.I.P. Daryl Mack. But I mean, St. John's being good is awesome.
Because Syracuse has always been New York's team. Like, even on their court, it says New York's team. But to have the team,
You're too young, man. Back in the old Big East days with St. John's, Georgetown.
oh, I know,
Yeah, I mean, St. John's was New York's team. Syracuse kind of took it over.
with that dude from the Dominican Republic. Oh, what's his name?
Luke Carnesecca.
No, not Luke Carnesecca. Luke Carnesecca's white.
Oh, I know, dude.
Yes.
Carnesecca.
Gosh, what's his name? They did a 30 for 30 on him. He was like this huge Dominican basketball player that like helped turn around St. John's basketball. But
I don't know. They had like
It's-
guys like Chris Mullen and
oh yeah,
Walter Berry.
Yeah.
I mean, and those battles with Georgetown and St. John's were epic. It was great.
so St. John's being Felipe Lopez, I think was his name.
Felipe Lopez, yeah,
Great.
that's right.
Dominican Dream. All right, so that is also another good that I want to touch on. GCU making the NCAA tournament in both women's and men's.
Cool.
Only Arizona team to do it.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. My bad, you mentioned it, North Carolina being in the NCAA tournament. You look at their record and you see 22 wins, I think it is. You're like, oh, yeah, Arizona's got 22 wins, right? But Arizona also has a lot more quad 1 wins, not as many quad 3 losses. And you look at teams like West Virginia that got left out, even though their record isn't as good, they had more quad 1 wins than North Carolina. And then when you add in our guy, Mr. Bubba, that's just corrupt, man.
100 grand. I watched Georgia Tech and Virginia in Atlanta, and I'm going to tell you that league is ACC's not even close to the Big 12.
Yeah.
And Georgia Tech lost by 8 to Duke. All right, what's your ugly?
My ugly, I feel like we've been dogpiling on them for a long time now, but the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks, things are so bad right now. They have so many injuries and so many players under contract that they could actually forfeit games because they're pretty much over the salary cap at this point. So they have 8 available players right now. Like, I've never ever seen an NBA team get into a position to where they could forfeit games because they don't have enough players and they can't sign any guys to contracts. They traded away the franchise player, Luka Doncic, who looks great in purple and gold, I might add.
Yep.
Looks great as a Los Angeles Laker. I am very happy that Luka is in La La Land. And Lakers are going to win the championship this year. They are going to beat the Boston Celtics. Lakers in 6. So I'm happy with Luka in LA. But man, Dallas Mavericks fans, you guys, I am so sorry because you guys did not deserve this. You guys did not deserve to see your franchise player go to the prominent brand that is the Los Angeles Lakers, and then for the Dallas Mavericks to raise the ticket prices on you. And now whenever you go to games, you're not seeing Anthony Davis, you're not seeing Kyrie Irving, you're not seeing Derek Lively, you're not, what is Klay Thompson the main attraction right now?
Yeah,
for the Dallas Mavericks, and
Big
that's
game
about
Klay.
it.
Yeah, big game Klay.
So yeah, it's all bad right now. They got so many injuries, and it's just an absolute nightmare. And this team was just in the NBA Finals.
I know.
It's crazy.
Their owner, Patrick Dumont, though, he's got a plan.
Yep.
And the plan is we're going to forfeit games. It could be worse. You could be the Suns and have no draft picks, can't sign any players, and basically you're handcuffed.
All hate each other.
And and they all hate each other. And by the way, Kevin Durant, you think you're going to get first round picks for him? You're not. He's playing his 20th year in the NBA.
Yeah. All right, well, that'll do it for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Huge shout out to our sponsor of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Desert Sky Pain and Medicine. Go check them out at desertskymedicine.com.